Hello and welcome back to another Strong Collectors Quick Reacts. Today, we're going to be talking about the new Ant-Man wave that Hasbro released. We're a couple days short, but that means we've had a couple days to really stew on these figures. And I think Jordan and I are both in consensus that, like, all right,
Well,
I guess just because we don't want any figures doesn't make it a bad wave. But I think we both agree that this is a contender for
well,
a single wave that is the barest of bones.
yeah, I think at first I was on the fence as to whether it was bad or just awful. And I'm thinking awful now that I've had
Okay.
time to think about it.
Okay. I think
No,
it's
I think we can get into it.
okay.
But yeah, I think bare bones is a better word
Hmm.
I would use because I'll admit there are some figures in here that I think are cool.
Yeah.
So we can. Do you just want to like go through them?
Yeah, so let's start out with maybe the MCU figures first.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the namesake of it all, Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got kind of the Paul Rudd head, and then we've got the helmeted Ant-Man head. Um, and we've gotten, I don't even know how many Ant-Mans now, probably at least two or three, at least from like MCU versions.
Yeah, I think there was a 2-pack, wasn't there? Then there was a
Maybe
single one,
there's the one with the like
and
weird
then there was
smiley.
yeah, that one's weird. And then obviously we got the Build-A-Figure and the Giant Man
Right.
Deluxe, so
True.
that's several.
Right. And
Um,
this one, so we were talking about being bare bones. This one only comes with the alternate head, so you can have a helmeted head, and then he comes with two hands. Like he's got two-fisted hands, and then his alternate hands are one pointing hand and one kind of like openish hand, and that's it. No Build-A-Figure piece for this guy. Can you see the
24.99.
Yeah, can you see the packaging for it? Like can you like switch back and forth between the like figure and then the packaging? Because I think
Yeah.
the packaging makes that figure look way cooler. And then you go to the actual figure and I'm like, the suit doesn't look as like the reds aren't as vibrant. They're a little bit more segmented. But then on the
Oh
packaging, you
yeah,
see.
it's way duller
Hmm.
coloration.
So I mean, these are digital renders, so like it's not exactly how the figure is going to look,
Hmm.
but I would take these as the best this figure is ever going to look. And when you get it in hand, I think rarely do figures ever exceed expectations.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a slightly, I mean, it's kind of that thing where the MCU feels the need to give their characters a new costume every movie.
Hmm.
Like, did we really need to redesign the Ant-Man suit again?
Right, which I
Like
think is
with
exactly
with an
for this
Iron
reason.
Man or like a Spider-Man, I get a little
Hmm.
bit more. Ant-Man, it's like, okay. But yeah,
Hmm.
like you were just saying, it's clearly to say we have another reason to make a new Ant-Man toy.
Hmm.
Which if you don't have an Ant-Man figure,
Yeah,
I guess this is for you.
right.
I mean, at least they could have thrown in that like giant ant, remember? From
Maybe
the
there is no giant ant in this movie.
I know, but just saying like,
Add something.
just to give you something.
Hmm.
Because if you open that, I mean, I'm imagining it and taking it out is going to be like, it's all,
Bloop, and that's it.
you know, I don't know. And especially with it being, I think if these were not 24.99, I'd be a little more merciful.
Yeah.
So I don't want to seem like I'm just being a jerk because you know that I still enjoy Legends. I
Hmm.
just I don't know, man. It feels like to me my biggest gripe with this wave, I think, is that you can't really tell from the packaging what it comes with.
Hmm.
Like we had to wait until they, at least I did, till they put it on Pulse to know what
What was
the
yeah.
figures come with.
Yeah, you kind of had to like scroll through the like promo shots when they first announced the wave, but then
Hmm.
it wasn't like clear of like, oh, he comes with these two alternate hands and an alternate head. Is like, oh, okay, there's alternate heads, but like, are those the same hands? What am I really getting here?
Or
So
you
yeah.
assume, oh, he has a pointed hand, so he must have two sets of special
Hmm.
hands, and oh, he has an open, so
Yeah.
that feels a little shifty to me
Hmm.
personally. But I mean, but until now, I haven't really. I mean, that was even in our hot takes was we didn't really mind the windowless packaging so much, but
Right.
here it kind of annoys me. But
Yeah. And I think I mean, these come out, well, they're supposed to be coming out August 1st. So that's quite a bit after the movie. But I think they were saying that that's because the movie got moved up. So it was supposed to come out later and it was supposed to line up better. But now they're going to be, but even still, like Hasbro is probably going to have them out 2 to 3 months early. So, but anyway, that's only the first figure. Let's get into the next one. We'll go with Wasp next. So this one, again, is pretty much exactly what you have from your last one. She's got some blue added on to her costume, and I would assume they're probably using the digital face printing, so probably a little bit better head sculpt, or at least like features on the head sculpt. I mean, this one comes with more, at least. Like, you're going to get the Build-A-Figure piece, which is the Cassie Lang kind of stature, but not called stature yet. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a big reveal in the movie, or maybe she doesn't have her nickname yet. But Wasp has her wings. She's got her like kind of retracted backpack wings, and then alternate. She's got open hands and then fisted hands. I don't know if you don't have a Wasp, like, yeah, this is a good Wasp to get, and I do like the colors, but again, you're looking at like a digital render here. I just can't imagine that the colors are going to be actually that vibrant. You can kind of see like on the close-up shot of her where it looks like the yellow paint isn't like fully painted on, maybe, and it's like you can see the black through it. So I don't know if maybe that's just like supposed to be like the hexagonal stuff is like showing up better, but it looks just like they didn't quite use enough paint. So I don't know. Again, maybe we shouldn't talk so much about MCU figures since neither one of us really want to collect MCU figures.
I know. I don't want to seem like it's like we're just bumming out people who are excited for this, because that'd be a good segue into one that I actually am thinking about getting, which is Kang. I think this one actually looks pretty good. I mean, I'm maybe it's more for me the costume design that they went with. Like, it's so comic accurate, which is awesome. Like, you'd half expect it to be like, oh, he's wearing like a green jumpsuit with a little purple on it, but they made it like everything. So I think it looks really cool. Yeah, I mean, that is kind of my gripe, is the lack of like accessories, maybe. I mean, as far as just having, I mean, technically he's got like 4 different hands, but he's just got 4 hands total. So like, you can mix and match them, I guess, but it kind of limits your ability to be like, what if I wanted to, I don't know. And it's also weird to have a gripping hand with nothing to grip.
I was just going to say that too. He's got that gripping hand and a fisted hand, but even the fisted hand almost doesn't even look like it's fully closed, but I think it is.
He's like,
and he's got the like, I don't know, he's got the like kind of clawed hand, and then what do you call that other hand, Jordan?
I feel like it's like a Jedi mind trick hand.
Oh, okay.
Kind of doing one of these, you know?
Yeah, that's much more PG than I was thinking.
Oh gosh.
But then he also comes
Don't take your kids to this one, ladies.
Yeah. He's also got the 2 Cassie Lang heads, which I think those look pretty cool. I mean, again, you're only seeing
severed head of his opponent.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I like the like helmeted heads where you can see the like eyes through it. I think that's cool. I think his face is probably one of the best MCU head sculpts I've ever seen. Like, it looks like, I don't know if that's shading or if that's just supposed to be like, they're like, oh, this is what natural light will look like on him. But it looks like he's got like lights within his mask that's kind of like almost giving him like a hologram face effect. I don't know, maybe you don't see that, but I think it looks kind of more like his face looks kind of like a glowy blue.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think it looks good. I mean, it's definitely a figure I want to get. I don't know if I want to pay $24.99 for it.
Out of the whole wave, he's probably the one that people are most interested and excited about.
I think you could even find a way because he's colorful enough to fit with other displays.
Yeah, I think so too.
So not just MCU, but yeah, I like Kang.
And then sticking with Ant-Man, but moving into the comic book figures, we've got future Ant-Man, who could easily come in as the winner for Barest Bone single figure because he has no extras. He's got the Build-A-Figure part with the alternate hand for the Build-A-Figure part, but this future Ant-Man comes with just fists and that's it.
Yeah, that one to me, when I got to it, I was like, are you kidding me?
Do you know anything about future Ant-Man, Jordan?
I know he was part. There was like an anniversary AntMan issue they did, I
Yes, and
believe, where
I did
they
my
feet.
homework because I was hoping you wouldn't
Oh,
know much.
oh,
And
sorry. I don't know much beyond that, but if
usually
you
you're
know
the one that
more,
has to tell me about the characters. So I thought
right?
last night I
Yeah.
went and on Marvel Unlimited and read all 4 issues, and I think it's pretty good. I would recommend. It's only a 4 issue thing, so like I did, I read it in a night. So yeah, he's from the year like 2500 and something. Um, and yeah, he kind of goes back and collects Ant-Man's to help him fight the big bad guy. It's said in
The
the
Ant-Man multiverse.
exactly, and I wanted to like be able to tell you. I was like, oh, I'm gonna read this whole page to Jordan. It gives like all the backstory, but then it tells you multiple times in there that I can't tell you what happens in it. It's like, don't disclose this
Hmm.
information to other people that haven't read this book yet. I was like, dang. So I'll tell you
It
that
says that in the book.
several times, yeah, because
Never
it's
heard
kind
of
of
that.
like it's like an it's supposed to be like a future comic book, so it's like I can't remember what they called it, like Marvel
Oh,
Entertainment presents this thing, and then it kind of like at the end of each one, it's like cliffhanger sequence initiated, remain calm, and then it like ends. So it's kind of
sounds
like
kind
a
of fun.
it is pretty fun. And it's
All right,
different,
I'll
but
have to check that out.
it kind of like goes back and like revisits those Ant-Man that he collects. So it's like you go back and
Yeah,
you see like old like original Ant-Man early comics, and then they're
right.
kind of like he's like doing like his own adventure, but it's like he's meeting these villains and he's like, oh, I remember you from this battle we did, and then it kind of says like go back and read this issue versus just like
Mm,
because I always get kind of annoyed when it's like, oh, here's the greatest hits of Ant-Man. It's like I don't want to jump around in these random stories. I'd rather kind of like meet these characters
have a
in
new
one.
story, but
Mhm.
know where they came from. Huh, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
and each one kind
All
of like
right.
follows that same art style that they had before, but they end
Hmm.
up they fight or he gathers them all to fight against Allfather Ultron. So
Mm,
I'll give you that much, and it's a good story. I like it. Go
all
read
right.
it. They didn't really do him. I mean, he looks like the character, but I just it's too bad that he doesn't actually come with anything as a figure. But I think the
Yeah,
figure looks fine. It's a cool head. Like I like that helmet, but
looks like an ant.
yeah, I mean, can't tell. Does he have? Yeah, he's got pins on both arms and legs.
Yeah, he's
I
got
think
pins. He's full of pins.
think this is Spider-Man UK body, and it doesn't even look like he's got much ab articulation. Like he's got that ab crunch, but I don't remember if that one
Yeah.
really actually moves much. So I don't know. I guess if they're gonna reuse that body mold, like good, slap it on him, and we don't have to get it. Probably the person that comes with the most accessories though is Crossfire. Do you know much about Crossfire, Jordan?
Um, no, I really
All right.
don't.
I don't really know a
Could
ton
you
either. He was in
think
this
he's like a
Moon Knight Red or Black,
oh,
White, and Blood. He was in kind of like I don't know, it's just like a mini story thing. I don't know. That one's not really one I would recommend to too many people because it was kind of weird. But
hmm.
he's just a bounty hunter pretty much. I think he's in
Yeah,
Secret
that's kind of what I
Invasion for a
gathered.
little bit too. Um, but yeah, he
He
comes with
doesn't
a lot of
look
stuff.
like the kind of villain anyone would take seriously, so something tells me
Right.
he's very low on the tier of threats.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine he probably is fighting Daredevil and Black Widow, Hawkeye kind of characters.
Nick
Um,
Fury.
yeah. But I mean, it just looks like Marvel's ripoff of Deadshot.
That, yeah.
So, but I mean, he comes with things at least. He's got the like long rifle that's coming with that Elena that's like the comic book
Hmm.
Widow. It's got a blast effect, the smoke effect, and then trigger finger hands and fisted hands. And this is Bucky Cap mold, so people aren't super
Hmm.
excited to see that. I don't know. I can see why they did this because it seems like a very cheap figure to do. Because all they had to do was take the Bucky Cap, give him a different head, and then the whole figure is red, slap a few white stripes on him, and boom, sell it for $24.99. So
I
I
have no
just like
desire for this figure, but even if I
no.
did, something tells me I'd be disappointed.
And I feel like with the rifle, like how do you give that accessory to somebody that doesn't have butterfly joints?
I was about to say that because he's gonna have to hold the
It's gonna
right,
be
like,
right. Like he could hold it to the
like,
side, but like yeah, having him
yeah,
look down the scope, like that would be
that's
much better with
impossible.
butterfly joints. Yeah. So missed opportunity there for sure. But I mean, it's kind of like, are they going to give you this like D-list character and use the Vulcan body mold, where it's like you're going to want more of those A-listers to have that nicer, newer buck. So I see where they did that. But still, I don't know, man. Put some butterfly joints on the toys. Come on. All right. The next
One that
one.
I'm really disappointed doesn't have butterfly joints is Egghead.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I
I'm
do not need him to have butterfly joints.
I'm shocked
But
at how many people seem excited. Listeners, like, leave a comment down below. What story have I not read where Egghead, like, where is he important? Like, why should I care? Because I think he's maybe in those like later issues of when Red Hulk comes in, when it's like him and the leader team up with that like orangutan and
Red
I don't know.
Ghost.
Yeah, a bunch of like smart guys get together, but
Yep.
that's the only thing I can almost remember. Yes.
Yeah. Super apes. Yeah, I mean, my first thing, it's like literally he just comes with the blaster and the
Yep.
Build-A-Figure piece, which, like, I don't know what Egghead needs to come with, but again, it's like for $24.99, I feel like we should get a little bit more. The only thing I could see is, do you think people are wanting this to just pop the head off and use it for other stuff?
Well, that's what I've heard too, is that people are expecting this to come out again with a different head, and it's going to be the Bruce Banner.
I was just going to say that.
Because I mean, I don't know who the top part is from, maybe like Agent Jimmy Woo. But then the legs, I think they were saying, were from Mr. Knight. Which, like, if you look at the picture where he's kind of like grabbing at you, I think those knees look on par with like how terrible McFarlane knees look. Like, it's so squared off and boxy, and like the kneecap is its own ginormous looking thing. It looks pretty bad, I think. I don't know. Maybe in person when it's on your shelf you wouldn't notice that as bad, but when it's like front and center right there in the picture, it's kind of like, ooh, that's not great.
So good.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just keep thinking like he's like a baby that came out feet first, and then mom just like clenched up right before he came out. That's what I keep thinking about him.
Yeah, I think that's the backstory of most supervillains, actually.
All right. So now if you go back and listen to our top 10, I believe you had the Ursa Major Ultron in your top 10 all time, right, Jordan?
I think I did.
So did you have him so high in your top 10 that Dan, Ryan, and Dwight said, you know what? Let's give it to Jordan again.
Maybe they did.
What do you think of this one?
The only thing I really would want this one for is if I wanted to army build this one and then have the like more chrome Ursa Major one as like your leader. You know, he's the main Ultron, and these ones are kind of like, you know, the lackey drones that just kind of don't pop as much. I don't know. I mean, if this had been the one that didn't have a Build-A-Figure piece, that would have been kind of cool.
Right.
Because then that's the double packed one, right? That you could find more of.
Yeah. And I think they sometimes double pack other stuff too. So I would hope he's one of those. But the really the only different thing here is the head is a slightly different head sculpt.
Well, isn't the paint? I mean,
well, yeah, I think the paint is a little duller. Yeah.
It's not as chromy.
Right.
But yeah, the head is a little different for sure.
And what do you like? I don't know. When I first saw this guy and he's like kind of standing there, and I'm like the other one has more of the up high antennas, right? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
Or does he have? Okay. This one, I feel like they're more down low. I think he looks kind of like a droopy dog, kind of like a sad puppy almost.
Cat Ultron returns.
Getting there. This is like his
Cat Ultron from Toy Biz.
Yeah, this is like his evolution.
Dog.
But then how about the I've seen people talk about this too, the Kirby Crackle.
Yeah.
What's your bet on whether that fits in his mouth or not, where it's supposed to go, right?
Oh, you're thinking it doesn't?
No shot.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look at there's
pretty tight in that mouth.
Yeah, like it's too small, and I do like the like actual effect within the head, the like black and red like crackle inside his mouth already.
Yeah.
But then it's just kind of like, why did you? It's like they just said like, oh, this was in the last one, so like pack it in with this one too. even though it really doesn't make a ton of sense. Like, I mean, is he ever like, he's not like, he doesn't have like energy blasts in his hands, right?
I was gonna say I don't know why he's like holding it like a lightning bolt, because I think that's usually just like
Yeah, coming out
streaming
of his
out of his
mouth.
mouth.
Yeah.
And then I guess there's the Build-A-Figure
Yeah.
to discuss.
And she's pretty substantial.
Yeah.
She looks like she's like twice as tall as Ant-Man, right?
Mm-hmm. Something
So
like that.
that's cool.
Yeah, that's probably the least of my. I mean, that's the thing with MCU. I feel like you either kind of love it or you just don't really care about it.
Hmm.
Like I feel like it's hard to be the casual MCU collector, because then like, as we've talked about, at least for us, I think it's harder to mix those with your
Hmm.
comic figures. You know, like they
Right.
stand out more,
Yeah.
not in the good way, at least
Yeah.
for me. Um, but I get it if you had like a separate MCU shelf or
Hmm.
something. If I
Yeah.
did, if I had the space for that, that could be fun. So
Hmm.
maybe I'd be excited. Maybe after the movie, I'll be even more excited and say, "Wow,
Yeah.
I
I mean, I
need it."
think the movie's going to be cool. I think people were
Yeah.
surprised that it was Cassie as the Build-A-Figure and not a MCU MODOK. You think they're just going to
Mm,
reuse the packaging from the old MODOK and say, here's your MCU Deluxe MODOK?
very possible.
I think that
Yeah,
MODOK
because
looks
it's
so
not like they
stupid.
didn't put him in any promo shots, so
Right. He's in the trailer.
he's why not reveal him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
Time will tell.
that's kind of
I'm
our initial thoughts on it. I mean, well, like, yeah, I think when the movie comes out, I think I always try to keep my expectations for Ant-Man low. And then every time I'm always very pleasantly surprised that I'm like, oh, sweet. This was a really good movie. So that's kind of what I expect, even though I'm keeping my expectations low with the expectation that they're going to be blown away.
right. It's like you're tricking yourself into a Jedi mind trick.
Exactly.
It's like you're erasing your own memory and then recreating the experience.
If I had a nickel for every time I did that.
I'm living in a different dimension, bro. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the only figure I really want is Kang.
Hmm.
So maybe that's again good, because then I don't have to spend money on a whole wave. So
Yeah. Yeah. The only one I would be almost interested in is Ultron, but I don't love the head. And I like the old one better. The old one is like, I think 34. So it kind of went up a little bit in price. Not a ton,
mhm.
but it's not like it was like super deep clearance where you could
Yeah.
like clear them out and have your army. And then it's
Hmm.
also like, do I have the room for an army of Ultrons on top of my other army builders? And like, is
And
this
you've got
one
those
worth?
Mezcos and Mayfexes coming in.
Forget about it. I'm gonna save my money for the better stuff, I think. And I think we're gonna get really cool stuff from Hasbro. My only worry now is after seeing this wave and how little accessories they gave you, I just really hope they don't do that with some of those
Will
figures that,
that be the standard moving forward?
yeah, because from those leaks that we talked about, there's some good stuff coming. Like if I get
Yeah.
like a crappy 2-pack of Thor and the Destroyer, that's gonna be terrible because that's gonna be expensive. Like Destroyer's got to be big, so that's gonna be probably in the $70 range. And you're going to get Thor with no extra. He's not even going to come with a hammer. Watch.
You already have a Thor hammer.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my worry here, but I don't
Yeah.
know, man. Hasbro is they've got
No,
me
he's
in their talons, but I'm just they're just making me so disappointed each time they bring
no.
stuff out. So we'll see. I still love Marvel Legends. I'm still going to
I
keep
mean,
playing
look
with my
behind
toys.
me. You know, we've got
Right.
a ton of legends. You know, it's not like we don't.
Although
Well,
look
I guess I
behind
don't.
us,
Never
you've
mind.
got
So I've got Mythic Legions. I've got old random stuff. I've got like a couple legends, but
That's kind of what I
mainly
was gonna say too.
other
I've
stuff.
got Mythic Legions, and then like there's you can see two visible Marvel Legends shelves. Um,
We should just do a time lapse of our shelf, like in each episode.
yeah,
Just turns into Mezco and Mayfex.
I wouldn't be
And
too
then
upset with
Dakota
that.
comes in with a pipe in one episode and
Hot
a
toy next
robe.
to me.
You just got Chris Evans sitting behind you in your collection.
We were talking. We've both acquired more sophisticated tastes in toys now.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get us with this cheap crap.
We are gentlemen.
Gentlemen
No.
and scholars.
The gentlemen collectors will
There we
just
go.
change. Oh boy.
All
What a
right,
rabbit
Jordan.
hole.
I think we've talked about them and beat this wave to death. I think
Yeah.
maybe we'll revisit this as they come out. If we ever pick up any of these, if you get that King, we'll have to hear how it actually is in person.
Yes.
I think he'll be pretty good. So let us know your thoughts on this wave. Did we just upset you for the last however long this episode was? This is your favorite wave. You can't wait for it to get here. Or are you with us where you're like, it's not terrible, but it's not good and it's not a good sign for the future. So, are there any that you're going to pick up? Are you going to get some army building going on with Ultron, picking up King? Why is
Finally,
Egg?
army build your Egghead and Crosshair.
I was going to say, why should I care
Crossfire.
about him? Um, let me know. I'd love to. I'd love to find out. And until next time, stay strong.